Welcome to the secret Beast Wars you never knew existed. What's up everyone, James here, and I bring you Beast Wars: The Gathering. Make sure you hit that like button. So you can think of this series as a spin-off of Beast Wars Transformers that takes place during the animated series. Don't worry, if you've never watched Beast Wars Transformers, one of the greatest shows of all time, I got you. We'll get a bit of a summary of it here in a second. So this opens with the most badass looking and dangerous Transformer in this Beast Wars series, the Predacon Magmatron. He originated in Beast Wars Neo, the Japanese animated series that continued Beast Wars. He and his Predacons arrive on prehistoric Earth during the Beast Wars. Specifically, early on in the show's third season, he explains the Beast Wars to his Predacons. It's really a summary of seasons 1 and 2. So warning, spoilers if you've never seen the show. I'm also going to add to his explanation the foundation for everything between the Maximals and Predacons and Cybertron's current status. However, if you don't care to hear any of this and just want the story to be told, feel free to use the timestamps below to skip this part of the video. So as we know, 300 years after the end of the Great War between the Autobots and Decepticons, their descendants, the Maximals and Predacons, carry on the responsibility for upholding the terms of the Pax Cybertronia, the peace accord that ended the war. The governing body of Cybertron is the Maximal Imperium, led by the Maximal Elders. However, some Predacons aren't happy with the current status quo, and feel that the Tripedicus Council, the ruling body of the Predacon Alliance, is betraying their Decepticon heritage by adhering to the statutes imposed by the Pax Cybertronia, and are kowtowing to the Maximal government. We're going to learn in this series though that isn't necessarily true. They have secret plans. What began the Beast Wars was one Predacon upstart, Megatron, who had stolen the Golden Disc, a precious Transformer artifact, which he believed held the location of a vast store of energon that he would use to reignite the Great War. After stealing the Golden Disc, he escaped with his band of Predacons in a transwarp ship, which is basically a ship that can time travel using its transwarp drive. The only near enough ship to chase them was a Maximal exploration vessel led by Optimus Primal. They gave chase and went through a transwarp portal. Their battle ended with both ships crashing on prehistoric Earth, and thus the Beast Wars began. Before the Maximal ship, the Axelon, crash landed though, they ejected all their stasis pods into space and were left orbiting Earth. Now these stasis pods held protoforms, the first stage in a Transformer's life cycle. It's their most basic form where they are essentially a blank slate comprised of raw, free-flowing living metal. All the stasis pods held Maximal protoforms, except one, Protoform X. But we aren't going to get into that. Watch the show if you want to know more. Most of the battles between the Maximals and Predacons would be over these stasis pods. When one of them would fall out of orbit, they would race to its location and battle over it, both trying to add a Transformer to their ranks and outnumber the other side. Even though most were Maximal protoforms, the Predacons would use a shell program to turn them into Predacons. The war eventually kept escalating until the Maximals and Predacons pissed off this powerful alien species known as the Vok, who were using prehistoric Earth as a planet to conduct their experiments. They tried to use their Planet Buster to destroy Earth and the Transformers along with it, until the Transformers banded together and destroyed it. The significance of that was the destruction of the Planet Buster released a transwarp wavefront that traveled through space and time and eventually reached Cybertron, forcing the Tripedicus Council to act and try to end Megatron's rebellion. They sent Covert Agent Ravage to apprehend Megatron, but he failed. That's what led to Magmatron and his Predacons arriving here. The Tripedicus Council ordered him to capture Megatron, but Magmatron has no intention of doing that. He plans to take the remaining stasis pods that descended to Earth and use them to create a Predacon army. He orders Razor Beast to set up the transmitter relay. You may be asking why is Razor Beast working with the Predacons when he's usually a Maximal? Just keep watching. The reason is incredible. Magmatron sends out the rest of the Predacons to various stasis pods locations across Earth. At that moment, the Maximal Depth Charge, who is part of the original Beast Wars roster, appears. Dropit announces this to Magmatron, but Magmatron reminds him that he and the team are chronically displaced, rendering them invisible to the rest of the Beast Warriors on Earth. So instead of using a transwarp ship to get here, They use this device called a chronal phase facilitator, a device that places a being or object in the chronal phase, displacing them from the native time stream and rendering them undetectable to those that reside in it. Now from here we go to a flashback on Cybertron that leads to all of this. We see Magmatron meeting with the Tripedicus Council. We learn through their conversation that the Council plans to overthrow the Maximal government. However, they would rather deal with Megatron first and continue to grow stronger before they make their move. Now Magmatron plays like he understands and agrees with them. Secretly though, like Megatron, he is fed up with the Council. He believes they are being too cautious and are taking too long to strike, that the opportunity to initiate their coup will be long gone if they wait any longer, and the longer they wait, the stronger the Maximals will get. So he decided to take matters into his own hands. So he has been secretly gathering his forces with plans to overthrow the Maximal Imperium, and chose to use this mission that the Council gave him to add more to his forces on Cybertron. Switching back to the present day, Razorbeast has set up the transmitter relay to scan and locate all the stasis pods scattered on Earth. Magmatron tells him to send the shell program as soon as they're all located. What Magmatron doesn't know is that Razorbeast is a double agent. We get a quick flashback and see one of the coolest looking Transformers of all time, Leo Convoy. Through Razorbeast's discussion with him, we learn he was the one who sent Razorbeast on this mission to infiltrate Magmatron's forces. The Maximal Imperium didn't sanction this mission, so Leo had told him that if he got caught, he would be disavowed. The reason why he sent him on this mission was because though Maximal and Predacons officially ceased hostilities and are one big happy family now, he knows that isn't the case. He's received reports that Magmatron is secretly recruiting and planning something big. During that conversation, Razorbeast asked, "What if it's something imminent and I can't report back to Cybertron in time?" Leo answered, "Then do what you can and start running." Back in the present, Razorbeast locates all the stasis pods, and once each one of Magmatron's Predacons reaches their locations, Razorbeast sends the Predacon shell program to all of them. Now, Transketo and Iguanus report to Magmatron that their protoforms have awakened as Predacons. Just when Magmatron begins to celebrate, that's when everything goes to hell. Because at that moment, Spitord reports over comms freaking out that his protoform has awakened as a Maximal. And it's one of my favorites, Polar Claw. And I love the way he is depicted here compared to his IDW depiction that we've covered. Instead of running from this massive beast, Spitord, for some reason, decides to take on an opponent that is literally 4, maybe 5 times his size. Polar Claw transforms into his beast mode and just crushes Spitord. It's so awesome. At that very moment, Magmatron figures out this is Razorbeast's doing. The double agent Maximal makes his move. He transforms and rams into Drillbit and begins to escape. But not before telling Magmatron he'll be back to finish the job. Magmatron orders the Predacons to capture him alive. This is where it gets even cooler. Razorbeast sends out a sonic call across the globe to all the Maximals he was able to awaken to head to his location. Transketo reports from his aerial view to Magmatron that they got a Maximal militia on their hands and asks, "How should we respond?" Magmatron answers, "I say, unleash the Beast Wars." This is why I say he is the most dangerous Transformer in this series. This guy is made up of not 1, not 2, but 3 different freaking beast modes. It's insane. He rallies his Predacon army, and we see he definitely has the numbers advantage in this Beast Wars. He mentions to his forces that although Razorbeast dealt his opening gambit a severe blow, and that they're fewer in number than he anticipated, he still believes his forces here, along with his troops on Cybertron, are still enough to topple the Maximal Imperium. This is pretty major, but he tells them they first must prevent Razorbeast from contacting Cybertron. From here we go to Razorbeast and the Maximals he was able to meet up with. He tells them he plans on salvaging a signal amplifier from Ravage's crashed transwarp cruiser. He explains that he had no opportunity to warn Maximal Command before they transwarped here because Magmatron kept his plan of building his army to himself until the very last moment. He had no choice but to go along with everything, but luckily he was able to throw a wrench in Magmatron's plans by putting in a low-yield code into the shell program he sent to the stasis pods. He sees that there are only 7 Maximals here, so he's left wondering where the rest are. He is unaware that some are being captured by the Predacons right now, and the others are far away making the journey to him. Now, Magmatron is smart enough to deduce that Ravage's cruiser is where Razor Beast is heading to, so he divides into his beast modes, and he and his forces split up to search for them. As the Maximals are searching for the cruiser, Baboon points out how they just met Razor Beast, and he is expecting them to immediately trust him right off the bat when he could be leading them into a trap. He even mentions how his sensors are picking him up as a Predacon. Razor Beast responds that his spark had to be changed on a submolecular level so he could infiltrate the Predacons. That he understands he is asking for a lot of trust, but they don't have time to become buddies. If they don't act now, every Maximal in Cybertron will pay the price. Baboon kind of begrudgingly agrees. Before they can find the cruiser though, the Predacons ambush them. Spitor attacks Ramulus, hitting him with an attack that incapacitates him and sends his body falling down the mountain. He is done. Spitor being here though doesn't make any sense whatsoever, because Polar Claw definitely killed him and he was on the other side of the world. Anyways, it gets worse for the Maximals. The next of all is Baboon. He gets trashed by Magmatron in his T-Rex mode, and the rest of his beast modes show up here. As that's going on, Optimus Minor, yeah, that's really his name, in another universe he is actually the son of Optimus Primal. As he's looking for the Transwarp Amplifier in the cruiser, Transketo appears with it already in his possession. He tells Optimus that he could have taken it and left, but he wants to have fun with him first, which is kinda creepy. Luckily for Optimus Minor, Snarl sneaks up behind Transketo and blasts him. Returning to Razor Beast, though it seems like he is holding his own against Magmatron, he's really just dodging and surviving. He is no match for this guy. He even fires a volley of cannons in Magmatron's face, and Magmatron is just like, "Are you finished?" He is just not on this guy's level. And neither are the other Maximals, because even Wolfang and Bone Crusher are getting smashed by Magmatron's other beast modes. However, we can't sleep on how intelligent Razor Beast is. Magmatron corners him, and Razor Beast plays like he is surrendering. Magmatron says, "You should know surrender is not an option." Razor Beast replies, "For once in your miserable existence, put up or shut up." He fires at the mountain above him, causing this huge landslide that topples Magmatron's T-Rex mode. What's interesting is that people could easily not notice this, but when Magmatron's T-Rex mode is damaged from the landslide, his other beast modes feel the pain, which stuns them. Razor Beast and the other Maximals end up all escaping. From here we go to 2 epilogues. The first one is with the Maximals. After they inspect the Transwarp Amplifier, they discover it's damaged. But Razor Beast mentions that they can fix it with the right parts and tools. When Bone Crusher says, "We're not in an age of technological advancement," Razor Beast replies, "You forgot, Bone Crusher. 3 million years ago, a piece of Cybertron crash landed on Earth. Everything we need can be found on the Ark." The second epilogue takes us to the Predacons. A couple of them talk amongst themselves about how Magmatron hasn't said anything. Suddenly, Magmatron appears, tossing the remains of Ravage they found. He says Ravage's body did not survive the crash, but his spark did. Perhaps this war needs a dash of Decepticon dogma. That's the end of the video. If you want the end of the secret Beast Wars, make sure you comment below. In the meantime, check out IDW's Beast Wars story that we've covered on the channel. It's right here. Also, subscribe to the channel, help me reach 50,000 subscribers, or if you're listening to this on Spotify, hit that follow button. I would greatly appreciate it. Other than that, have an awesome day, and always remember every day to go beyond.